live with coverage you can count on. This is News 2 Today.
One man is safe this morning after being rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard from his sinking boat. We'll show you the dramatic video from Kiowa Island. Plus, there is a new type of school coming to North Charleston, but one council member says disadvantaged students from one part of the city are getting left out. Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, July 20th, and I'm Haley Hernandez. There is dramatic video from Kiowa Island as the U.S. Coast Guard plucks a man from the water after his boat capsized last night. The Coast Guard Sector Charleston says they were notified that a 31-foot Searoy was sinking near the entrance of the North Edisto River near Kiowa Island. A crew from Coast Guard Air Facility Charleston hoisted the man by helicopter. He did suffer minor injuries, and after the rescue, his boat sank. A North Charleston woman was shot dead while apparently trying to reverse out of the suspect's driveway. Police found 43-year-old Colette Warren inside her SUV on Suffolk Street just before 3 o'clock Saturday morning. The vehicle was still running and in reverse. There was a single bullet hole in the front windshield. 30-year-old Antoine Maurice Hayward was arrested and charged with her murder and possession of a firearm. He initially told officers that he had no connection to the victim, but after some interrogation, he changed his story, and officers found a hidden gun and cocaine inside the home. Hayward is currently at the Alcannon Detention Center. In Ravenel, one person is stabbed by a family member. Police responded to the Burbage Mobile Home Park just before 11 o'clock Friday night to reports of an altercation between two cousins. Deputies say one of the cousins had a minor stab wound and was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. It's unclear if anyone was arrested for the stabbing. The State Highway Patrol is investigating a pedestrian fatality in Berkeley County. 27-year-old Anita Pelote was walking along Trojan Road near Cross when she was hit Friday night. The driver of the truck was not injured. Troopers are still investigating the wreck to determine exactly how it happened. There is a new type of school coming to North Charleston. However, one council member says many disadvantaged students from one part of North Charleston are getting left out, and she wants answers. News 2's Veronica Macias explains. That was Veronica Macias reporting. News 2 reached out to the trustees' chairwoman, Cindy Coates, but she has been unable to be reached. Across South Carolina, 20-year-old John Parker was charged on 8 bomb-related charges, and he is currently behind bars in Florence County. Police were called to this Florence home Friday afternoon and found explosives inside. Several homes in the area were evacuated as a precaution. There's no word on what type of explosives were found. Bond was set at $1 million. 2 Richland County parents are in jail after they told authorities that they couldn't afford food for their 2-month-old child. Deputies say 20-year-old Samuel Green and 22-year-old Ashley Chatham brought their child to the local hospital complaining that the infant was having seizures. The parents wrote statements saying that they could not afford food for their baby and had only fed him water for 5 days. Now they are charged with unlawful conduct toward a child. Bond for both was set at $75,000. Across the U.S. Saturday, there were more than 300 protests rallied against immigration reform, amnesty, and the surge of immigrant children at the border. Over a dozen people with signs lined the sidewalks of the Grand Strand. Cars driving past honked in support of the protest against illegal immigration. One woman said that she's holding up her sign because she wants to see people gain citizenship legally.
Spending more money on taxes, more programs. They don't deserve free education, free housing. I've had to work to send kids through school and everything like that.
Similar protests took place in Greenville, Columbia, and Florence. Now, today is a huge anniversary in American history. Today marks the 45th anniversary of the moon landing. And sort of in celebration of that, the USS Yorktown has a special event going on today. What's that all about, Chrissy?
Hey, good morning, Haley. Yeah, they've got a new Apollo 8 exhibit that's opening here on
All right, Chrissy, we'll check back in with you later. And still to come on News 2 today, the city swim meet continues this afternoon. So first, we'll get you all caught up on all the action from yesterday's meets. Plus, he may be the most famous mammal in the Sunshine State, and he's turning 66 this week. We'll introduce you to the mascot of Manatee County, Florida. Stay with us. You're watching News 2 Today. The city swim meet continues today at Crowfield Country Club in Goose Creek. News 2's David Reeder takes us inside the action from Saturday. And there's just one day of action remaining. Here's the leaderboard. Snee Farm has a 421.5-point lead over Northbridge Terrace. Our live stream of this meet continues this afternoon at 4 o'clock. For that, you can go to counton2.com. He could be the most famous mammal in Florida, and he's turning 66 this week. Reporter John Woodruff spent the day with Snooty, the oldest living manatee in captivity and mascot of Manatee County, Florida.
He was born.
And Snooty shares his home with injured or otherwise unhealthy manatees going through rehabilitation before returning to the wild. So have you ever been to a disco demolition? There was one here in the Lowcountry last night. You'd have to see it to believe, as in Justin Bieber. Listen to this. That right there is what the River Dogs are calling Disco Demolition 2. You better believe it. It was held Saturday at the Joe. It featured the destruction of Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus music and paraphernalia. But Miley says that she's not worried because she can't stop, and she won't stop. Fans even got a discount by bringing in Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus items to the game. The River Dogs say that they won't be playing any of their music anymore, but Chrissy and I were both there last night. There was definitely no shortage of their songs at the game last night. Isn't that right, Chrissy?
Yeah, that's true. Although I do have to say, they did stop them usually in the middle of the song and switch it to something else.
That's pretty typical. So, yeah, they were playing the Party in the USA. I don't know how you can go to a ball game without that song.
That's a good point. Some of them are downright catchy. I hate to admit it,
right.
But some of them are downright catchy.
I know this summer you've heard a lot about not leaving children in hot cars, but that goes for your four-legged friends as well. Animal Control says they've seen an increase of people leaving their dogs in hot cars this year, and while this may not be intentional, it can quickly become deadly. NBC's Don White has the story. They also say that cracking the windows does not necessarily help the temperature inside the car. In the Journal of Pediatrics, it was shown that cars with the windows cracked still reach the same temperature as those with the windows closed. Experts say it's best to just leave the pets at home during the summertime. There is a reason your feet may hurt at the end of the day. New research from the College of Podiatry in the UK included about 2,000 adults. Nearly half of the women and a third of the men in the study admitted purchasing shoes that did not fit right. Ill-fitting shoes can cause problems over time, like calluses, bunions, and deformities. It may be a good time to get your shoe size professionally measured. The study also reveals that the average shoe size has increased about 2 sizes in the past 40 years. Still to come on News 2 today, will new bars in downtown Charleston remain open until 2 a.m. or will the city force them to shut down at midnight? The latest details on the bar battle after this break. Stay with us. You are watching News 2 today.
This is News 2 today.
For now, city officials are looking for alternatives to closing the bars in downtown Charleston at midnight. Details on the bar battle. And around the world, mourning continues today for the nearly 300 lives lost on Malaysian Flight 17, the latest on the investigation.
And it's going to be a stormy end to the weekend and a stormy start to the work week. I'll have all the details in your Storm Team 2 forecast in just a few minutes.
Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday morning. We want to thank you for staying with us, and I'm Haley Hernandez. Happening tomorrow, the Charleston NAACP will hold a press conference outside their office at 81 Columbus Street at 11:30 in the morning. A statement will be released in response to the solicitor's decision on the shooting death of Denzel Cornell. The reaction by Charleston Mayor Joe Riley and Police Chief. The NAACP says they want to, quote, bring clarity and resolution to ongoing and unresolved community concerns and to include the community as partners going forward to assure that justice is done. Will new bars in downtown Charleston remain open until 2 a.m. or will the city force them to shut their doors at midnight? The bar battle does continue. This week, city officials agreed to pump the brakes and ask for alternative suggestions. Here's what some of them told me.
No, keep the bars open as late as possible.
The proposed ordinance passed first reading in May.
We may be
took a hammer rather than a flash water to the property.
Their proposal would affect new businesses that apply for licenses here on the peninsula, including King Street Market and Meeting. Bars already open would be grandfathered into the 2 a.m. closing time, but people currently working downtown worry it would affect their income.
Because nobody's going to want to come downtown, you know, if people close at 12, like there's really no point to really go out that much. Like that's why people go out, is to stay out late.
Thursday, Mayor Riley acknowledged concerns but still plans on finding another solution to what he considers a heavily concentrated area of similar businesses.
That if nothing is done and a whole lot more open, then you've changed the chemistry. And that's what I'd like to keep what we have now.
It's fine. Keep them open. Enjoy it. This place is great.
Bar employees suggest City Council look at plans for other aspects of nightlife.
Getting a taxi sometimes is super hard. Like, you can't get it on Market Street. You have to walk all the way to Calhoun, and I think they need to work on like public transportation for like late at night, definitely.
Some bar owners also suggest to us some other ideas to slow the bar scene in that area, such as limiting the number of liquor licenses distributed by the city. New this morning, the Coast Guard and Myrtle Beach police searched for an 11-year-old boy who they say went into the ocean and never came out around 8:40 last night. Their search is centered in the vicinity of the Grand Atlantic Ocean Resort off of Ocean Boulevard. And this was the scene late last night as crews searched the water. A viewer sent this to our sister station WBTW. A helicopter crew from Coast Guard Air Facility Charleston was launched to assist in that search that continues this morning. European monitors were allowed a little more access to the site where Malaysian Flight 17 was shot down, but only if escorted by heavily armed separatist militia. And as the international outcry over this tragedy grows, so does the mourning for the nearly 300 lives lost. NBC's Dan Shinneman has more. The death toll continues to rise as the Israeli offensive in Gaza enters its 13th day. An Israeli civilian was killed in a rocket attack, and Israeli officials said 2 soldiers were also killed by Palestinian militants. But as their airstrikes continue to rock Gaza, Palestinian authorities say more than 340 Palestinians have been killed in this conflict. The beach arrived at the City of Love. The French capital opened its annual Urban Beach Saturday. As it is every year, the beach is complete with palm trees, deck chairs, and umbrellas, and spans nearly 2 miles through the heart of Paris. It's a typical day at the beach, minus a dip in the water, but some tourists still think it's a novel idea. And also a novel idea is this Apollo 8 capsule we have in Charleston now. And I love how it coincides with the anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing on the moon, right, Chrissy?
Yeah, it is, Haley. The anniversary today is a few minutes.
Thanks, Chrissy. And still to come on News 2 Today, we'll tell you about a new material that's blacker than black. The world's darkest material won't be a flattering little black dress, but it could be useful to militaries. And just how much will people spend on back-to-school supplies this year? We'll tell you what one survey found out. That's coming up next. A British nanotech company has created what it says is the world's darkest material, Vanta Black. A company spokesman says it absorbs 99.96% of light. Take a listen. Very interesting. Well, summer vacation is winding down in parts of the country, and that means students are getting ready to head back to class already. And it seems like they'll be dropping some serious cash to prepare for this school year. The National Retail Federation says a recent survey found people will spend $26.5 billion on back-to-school items. It says the average American family with kids in kindergarten to 12th grade will spend just over $669 on things like school supplies, clothing, and electronics. The survey found families with high school students will spend the most, while those with little elementary kids will spend the least. A major shipping company faces a criminal indictment. Documents filed in federal court accuse FedEx of enabling criminal activity. The indictment accuses FedEx of shipping prescription drugs from illegal online pharmacies to addicts and to drug dealers. A spokesman for the company says FedEx is innocent of any wrongdoing. Still to come after the break, we'll tell you the best way to chill out on this hot Sunday. Chrissy? And a look at what's trending this morning. People around the world are remembering the life of legendary actor James Garner. Garner has passed away of natural causes. He died Saturday evening at his home in LA. He was 86 years old. Garner has starred in a long list of TV shows and movies, notably the hit series The Rockford Files and a Low Country favorite, The Notebook. Now take a look at this. New photos of Britain's Prince George. He's preparing to celebrate his first birthday on July 22nd. The young prince is the first child of Prince William and Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton. The photo was taken during the future king's recent visit to the Natural History Museum in London. And how about a Sunday on a Sunday? Today is National Ice Cream Day as proclaimed by President Ronald Reagan. In 1984, the Congress and the House passed a resolution making July National Ice Cream Month, and specifically the third Sunday of the month as National Ice Cream Day. At the time it was created, 10% of all milk produced in the United States was used for ice cream. So I take it as a direct order that everyone should eat ice cream today. Not something I will argue with.
I like that, Haley.
Cool, Chrissy, where are you at now?
I can't argue with you there, Haley. Ice cream is one of my favorite foods.
Absolutely.
I'm actually inside of the capsule here, the Apollo 8 capsule. This is a replica here, and we're going to take you on a tour of this real fast in just a minute.
We lost Chrissy there, probably because she's in that Apollo 8 capsule, but definitely want to get you guys a tour of that, so we'll be checking back in with her after this break. We'll have more news and weather coming up after this break. Thanks for watching News 2 today. Here's a look at today's takeaway. Dramatic video from Kiowa Island as the U.S. Coast Guard plucks a man from the water after his boat capsized last night. A crew from Coast Guard Air Facility hoisted the man by helicopter. He suffered minor injuries, and after the rescue, his boat sank. A North Charleston woman was shot dead while apparently trying to reverse out of the suspect's driveway on Suffolk Street early Saturday morning. 30-year-old Antoine Maurice Hayward was arrested and charged with murder and possession of a firearm. He is expected in court this morning. And tomorrow morning at 11:30, the NAACP will hold a press conference outside their office at 81 Columbus Street. A statement will be released in response to the solicitor's decision on the shooting death of Denzel Cornell and the reaction by Charleston Mayor Joe Riley and the police chief. Chrissy?
As promised, we're going to give you a tour of this Apollo 8 replica, and you can see actually in here, you can actually get a nice little feeling for what actually happens when they came down, when they took off and came back down. It's really pretty cool, and these seats actually, you lay down on them like this. So you're kind of sitting here watching the visual up here. It's a pretty neat exhibit that goes on. It's happening it opened today out here at Patriots Point on the Yorktown. You can come on and check it out during normal business hours. I'm going to show you a look at your 7-day forecast while we get out of here real fast. And as we take a look, you can see a very unsettled pattern here over the next several days. It's going to continue to be warm and muggy across the area. And you can see that things look pretty unsettled as we head towards the rest of the week. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, numerous to scattered as we head over the next couple of days here across the area. So, Haley, I got to tell you, this is a really cool exhibit. Come on out to Patriots Point and check it out. It is a permanent exhibit, so if you can't get out here today, you have plenty of time to come on over and check it out.
So cool, and it really gives you a feel for exactly how small of a space that these astronauts have to live in, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, the video actually shakes it actually shakes, and so you get that kind of feeling of what it feels like to actually take off, go through the atmosphere, orbit for a little bit. It kind of suspends you into space, and then you come back down. It actually gives you that feeling of what it's like to actually splash back down in the ocean before they got lifted up by the Yorktown.
And so cool. Are they making mention of this being the 45th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission, which was the one that landed on the moon?
Yes, and as we talked about earlier, Apollo 8 kind of paved the way for Apollo 11, which is why it's such a great day for them to open this exhibit on that anniversary.
Yeah, such a cool exhibit, and I'm so glad that it's here to stay. I know that I, for one, definitely want to make my way out there and take a look at it. Thank you so much, Chrissy. Well, we want to thank you for joining us for News 2 today. And of course, the news continues online at counton2.com. Don't forget about that live stream of the city swim meet coming up later this afternoon. We'll see you back here next weekend, next Saturday morning, starting at 9 a.m. Have a great Sunday, everyone.